Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig's Sports. Today is Saturday, February 12th, and this is the NBA DFS video for today. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out, talking about the injuries in play for tonight's slate. I believe it is a 10-game slate overall, and then going over my picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for tonight's slate as well. But without further ado, we'll get started with a recap of yesterday's picks. We're going to start off on the DraftKings side. At point guard, we had D'Angelo Russell, $7,400, looking for 37 points out of him. He got to 25.25. He was a miss. He really just scored the ball yesterday and not a whole lot else. So just an unfortunate day for him. At shooting guard, we have Bones Highland ended up in that starting lineup in place of Monty Morris. $3,800, looking for 19 points out of him. He got to 13. He was a miss. He only ended up playing 18 minutes in this game. Campazzo was the correct play. I was kind of going back and forth between them myself. Once Bones Highland was starting, then kind of stuck on Bones Highland. But I did always kind of have this feeling in my stomach that Campazzo was the better play. But stuck on Highland, and it was kind of a mistake yesterday. And then at small forward, we had Devin Vassell, $4,000, looking for 20 points out. He got to 33.75, so he was a hit. He ended up in that starting lineup in place of Derek White, who was recently traded away. Devin Vassell is going to look like a pretty good value for a little bit of time until his price tag catches up on both sites. Then at power forward, we had Aaron Gordon, $5,600, looking for 28 points out. He got to 32.5, so he was a hit. And then at center, unfortunately, we had Goga Batazzi, $4,700, looking for 24 points out. He got 6.25. He's a miss. He only ended up playing 10 minutes in this game, so not looking like Goga is going to be anyone that we're going to play going forward. So only 2 out of 5 on the DraftKings side. A little bit of bad luck yesterday, unfortunately. Then on the FanDuel side, we had LaMelo Ball, $8,400, looking for 42 points out of him. He got to 65, so he was a really good hit yesterday. Zach LaVine, $8,000. We were looking for 40 points out of him. He got 24.8. He was a miss. He just did not play well by any means yesterday. His scoring was kind of down. He had some turnovers. He didn't really do a whole heck of a lot, so just not a good day for him overall. Small forward, we had Lou Dort, $6,800. Was looking for 34 points out. He got 20.3. It was a miss. He only played 27 minutes, mainly scored the ball, and this game was kind of a blowout as well. Then at power forward, we had Jeremy Grant, $5,200. Looking for 26 points out. He got 29.1, so he was a hit. And then lastly, at center, Goga Batazzi, $5,000. Looking for 25 points out. He got to 7.7, so he's a miss. Like I mentioned on the DraftKings side, he only ended up playing 10 minutes in this game. So unfortunately, it was a pretty down day yesterday after a very good day the day before. But, you know, that's part of the aspect of NBA DFS. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. Just hopefully the good days outnumber the bad days. So right back at it tonight with the 10-game slate, looking to bounce back right away. But with that being said, we'll get moved over into the injuries and play for tonight's slate. So there is one early game. It's a 5 o'clock Eastern game. This is not on the main slate. It's the New York Knicks and the Portland Trail Blazers. So if you want to play like an all-day slate, I believe they have it on FanDuel. I don't believe they have the all-day slate on DraftKings. But if you're looking to play single-game slate, you can look at this game as well. So for the New York Knicks, they're without R.J. Barrett and Derrick Rose, and then Nerlens Noel is listed as questionable for tonight. And then for the Portland Trail Blazers, they're without Eric Bledsoe, Keon Johnson, Damian Lillard, and Didi Lozada. So looks like Josh Hart will make his way into the starting lineup. I think this is the first game he's been able to play for the Portland Trail Blazers. Then we move over to the main slate. So we got the San Antonio Spurs, Goran Dragic, Romeo Langford, Josh Richardson. All this is out at this point in time. Keta Bates-Diop listed as questionable. And then Tomas Satoransky listed as a game-time decision. We'll see if he ends up playing or not. For the New Orleans Pelicans, they're without Larry Nance and Zion Williamson. Both players will not be playing for quite some time, so no changes there at all. For the Sacramento Kings, they're without Terrence Davis, who's essentially out for the season at this point in time. Then we have Josh Jackson, Mo Harkless, both listed as questionable. Trey Lyles and Dante DiVincenzo listed as probable to play at this point in time. For the Washington Wizards, Daniel Gafford's out once again, and Kristaps Porzingis listed as questionable, but I would not expect him to play at least yet. Maybe when we get into early next week, maybe after the All-Star break is when they start playing him, since he's been dealing with that knee injury, and the Wizards really aren't playing for anything at this point in time either way. Then for the Memphis Grizzlies, Dylan Brooks, Yves Pons, Killian Tilly, Xavier Tillman are all out, and then Aldama is questionable to play, so we'll see if he's back tonight or not. Not really relevant from a DFS perspective, at least. Charlotte Hornets are without Gordon Hayward once again. Jalen McDaniels and Cody Martin both listed as questionable to play. Both have missed quite a bit of time at this point, so we'll see if they're back tonight or not. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, Lauri Markkanen is doubtful, and Darius Garland is questionable. He did end up missing last night with a back injury. We'll see if he's back tonight or not. For the Philadelphia 76ers, James Harden and Paul Millsap both listed out at this point in time. I do believe that's true, since I did hear the rumor that it was unlikely that James Harden would play today. So hopefully next week is when they get James Harden into the starting lineup. For the Denver Nuggets, Kankar, Murray, and Porter are all listed as out, and then Monty Morris is listed as doubtful to play with the concussion that he's been dealing with. For the Toronto Raptors, Fred VanVleet is questionable tonight. He missed the last game out. I believe it was with a groin injury. We'll see if he's back tonight or not. If he's not, Gary Trent's going to look like a pretty good play once again. Then for the Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Mike Muscala, Jerome Robinson, Earl, Aaron Wiggins are all out once again. For the Chicago Bulls, Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, Derek Jones, and Patrick Williams all out as well. They did get Ayo DeSomo back last night. For the Brooklyn Nets, they're without LaMarcus Aldridge, Nick Claxton, Kevin Durant, Joe Harris, and Ben Simmons. Andre Drummond and Seth Curry both listed as questionable to play. They both did come over in that trade recently, so we'll see how much they play tonight. Could be interesting to see who ends up starting for this Nets team overall tonight, though. Then for the Miami Heat, they are without Markieff Morris and Victor Oladipo. Then Tyler Hero, Caleb Martin, PJ Tucker all listed as questionable to play. For the Clippers, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Jay Preston all out once again. And then Norman Powell listed as questionable to play tonight, so we'll see if he's out there tonight or not. Otherwise, could shake up the starting lineup just a little bit. For the Dallas Mavericks, they are without Tim Hardaway Jr. and Marquise Chris. Spencer Dinwiddie is questionable to play. Davis Bertans listed as a game-time decision, so we'll see if those two end up playing today. Obviously, they did come over in that Kristaps Porzingis trade. For the Lakers, they're without Carmelo Anthony and Kendrick Nunn. Russell Westbrook, LeBron James both listed as questionable. We'll see if they end up playing tonight or not. And then we do have Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard both listed as probable to play. For the Golden State Warriors, they're without Draymond Green and Andre Iguodala. And then obviously James Wiseman's been out all year so far. For the Orlando Magic, they're without Jonathan Isaac, Markelle Fultz. RJ Hampton is doubtful to play tonight, so getting closer to returning, but probably not going to play once again tonight. And then Mo Wagner, who did end up missing last night, is questionable at this point in time. For the Phoenix Suns, they're without Frank Kaminsky, Abdul Nader, Cam Payne, Dario Saric, and Landry Shamet. So pretty much the same five guys that have been out for a while now for them. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown on all the injuries in play for tonight's slate. Definitely going to be a very interesting slate. And we do have 4 games that are starting right away at 7 o'clock tonight too. So we should have a lot of early news, especially when it comes to injuries and everything like that. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my picks over there. So last night we went with Bones Highland and it was Compazzo that went off. I am sticking with Compazzo this time, sticking to my gut. $3,000, only looking for 15 points. I'm got projected for 20 points. We've seen him go over that last night. Then at shooting guard, we have Devin Vassell once again. $4,200, looking for 21 points. I'm averaging 23 points on the season. Currently, I'm projected for 24, 25 points. We've seen him go up over 30 last night, so definitely has upside for more. At small forward, we're going with Denny Advia, so he's $4,000, looking for 20 points out. I'm averaging about 18.5 so far on the season. Currently, I'm projected for about 23, 24 points. Guy that has a little bit of upside. The Wizards aren't really playing for anything, so they should play some of these younger players like Denny Advia just a little bit more, just to see what they have in them in terms of going forward for the future. Then at power forward, we have Aaron Gordon, $5,700, $100 more than he was on last night's slate. We've seen him pay off at that price tag. Don't have a problem going back to him once again today. Looking for about 28, 29 points out. I'm averaging 28 points on this season. Definitely has a little bit of upside for more without Monty Morris in that lineup. Going to be doing just a little bit more on the offensive end as well. Then at center, we have DeAndre Ayton at $6,700, looking for 33, 34 points out. I'm averaging 34.5 points on the season. Had a very strong game the last time out against the Milwaukee Bucks. Looking like his minutes are increasing once again. Going against a poor Orlando team overall, DeAndre Ayton could have a very nice game tonight, and I currently have him projected for 35, 36 points. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players on the DraftKings side, you have $26,400 remaining, $8,800 per player, so you can definitely pay up for a stud. You could probably pay up for another player, maybe not quite a stud level pricing, but and then kind of mix and match from there. Or you could take a little bit of a balanced approach. Definitely something that could pay off on tonight's slate, especially with some of the players that we do have out there. Maybe you're doing a balanced approach with the LaMelo Ball, hoping he has another big game like he did last night. We've had a couple of them recently, and then plug in some other guys from there. Maybe a LaMelo Ball, Tobias Harris, and somebody else. Definitely a lot of options that are available out there tonight. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my picks over there as well. So we're starting off at the point guard position with LaMelo Ball, $8,500, so $100 more than he was on last night's slate, looking for 43 points out, essentially what's been averaging on the season. We've seen him put up a 65-point game last night. I don't expect him to do that once again, but that upside is definitely there, and at $8,500, just too cheap of a price tag. Currently have him projected for 46 points at this point in time. Then at shooting guard, we're going Kobe White, $4,400. Looking for 22 points out, averaging 21.5 on the season so far. Relatively cheap price tag for him. He's been getting more minutes. He's been playing better as of late. They are playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, so there is a chance that this game ends up in a blowout. He still probably ends up playing in that blowout run as well. And then with that being said, I currently have him projected for 24 points at this point in time. Then at small forward, we got Denny Advia once again, $4,300, looking for 21, 22 points out. Have him projected for 23, 24 points. Once again, going against Sacramento is going to be a good matchup overall. The Wizards really should be playing Denny Advia as many minutes as they can to see what they have in him going forward for the future. So Denny Advia, definitely somebody I'm interested in once again tonight, especially at that cheap price tag of $4,300. Power forward was the hardest position for me today. I ended up on Blake Griffin, and at $5,200, looking for 26 points at him. He's been in that starting lineup. When he's been in that starting lineup, he's been getting close to 30 points. So definitely don't have a problem with him today at $5,200. A decent little mid-range value on tonight's slate. Then last but not least, at the center position, we have DeAndre Ayton once again, $7,200, looking for 36 points out. I'm averaging about 34 on the season so far. A very good matchup against the Orlando Magic, coming off a very strong game against the Milwaukee Bucks. DeAndre Ayton is definitely somebody I have a lot of interest in on tonight's slate overall. If you want to pay up at the center position, you could always pay up for Nikola Jokic or Joel Embiid. Both are very viable on tonight's slate once again as well. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players on the FanDuel side, you have $30,400 remaining, $7,600 per player. So you could definitely pay up for one stud and then kind of fill in from there. Or you could take a little bit more balanced approach, which is something that's been working rather well so far this season on the FanDuel side. But with that being said, these are my picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today, February 12th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on tonight's slate, whether it's on DraftKings or FanDuel. Heck, if you want to talk a little bit of Super Draft, always down to talk some Super Draft as well. JC Money Design and I will be going live at 5 o'clock Central Time over on his channel to talk some Super Draft, the NBA DFS main slate. I believe there's a couple Super Draft Pro contests as well. I believe it's UFC today. I think that starts right around the same time as basketball, so we might touch on that as well. Don't quote me on that at this point in time. And then tomorrow is only a 2-game NBA slate, so we're going to be going over that once we're done with the main slate for today. And with that being said, since it's a 2-game main slate tomorrow, I'm probably not going to make a video just because there's 2 very early games. It's just a small slate overall, so taking the day off. Hopefully you guys all enjoy your Sunday. Hopefully you all enjoyed the Super Bowl as well. And then as always, I'll be listing all the injury updates, COVID news, and starting lineups down in the comments, as well as my updated core about a half hour prior to lock if there are any changes that happen throughout the day. But with that being said, if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's NBA or NFL, helping you with your fantasy football teams. I know that's kind of done and over with for the season, but there's always Dynasty out there. There's always NFL draft prospects. We'll be talking about some NFL news, some NBA news that happens throughout the season as well. And then with that being said, if you are a newer current subscriber who's yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, I post up daily NBA DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.